even I thought, I don't know. He would always show up and just do some things. And I'm like, what manner of man is this?
Wow.
And he blew my mind and continues to blow my mind.
Oh. That's amazing. Well done, man. You've done. You see, you worked so hard in the initial stages that that love that came just came all at once. That's amazing. So tell us about because I know Kanisa came to the UK. At what stage did that happen, and how was the courting period for you guys in that period?
So I was supposed to leave because I only came to Jamaica to go to that school and then leave again.
Look at God.
No. So let's get this straight. So you were in England before.
Yes.
Let me speak a bit British, yeah. So you were in, so you were in the UK, and then you went to Jamaica for 4 years.
Yeah.
2 years.
I
Okay.
only did 2 years. So I finished. I was living there about 7 or 8 years before, and I finished my degree, everything, and then I felt a push to go and study, and I was looking for schools all over the place, and the Lord was just pushing me towards this one school.
My
So I
God, that's
and
God
did,
saying you go find a husband, girl.
yes,
Wow. So you're telling me you were in the UK where all these schools are,
yes,
and somehow God was pushing you to go to Jamaica
yes. So
to
that's
study. That don't happen every day. That don't happen every day. How long were you in the UK before you went back?
7 years.
Oh my word! Oh my word!
You actually
7
did your
years.
first degree there.
I did my first degree there, finished and everything, and then it was like, you're not finished. Now you've done what you want to do. It's time to do what I want you to do.
No,
So you're going to pack your bags.
no, that's divine. That's can we have a praise break right here? No, seriously, that's really so you had not kind of like had thought this through. You just felt a urge to go to Jamaica.
Yes. In
And
my
this
my
specific
last months of doing my first degree, the last couple of months, it was like, no, it's time to do what I want you to do. So you're going. But I was looking for schools in England. I was looking for schools in America because I'm like, what me I got Jamaica go do?
Mhm.
And I don't know how to live in Jamaica anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I'm going to function there. So I'm looking for schools everywhere else. And he's like, no, this is the school you're going. And it wasn't until I got here that I looked at the motto of the school. And I remember 5 years prior to this, he deposited that into my spirit. And it's when I got to Jamaica that I saw the motto of the school. And I'm like, but I've heard this before.
Mhm.
And I back into one of my books and I saw it there to know him, that I may make him known. And I got that 5 years before.
Wow. Wow. That's definitely God. It remind me of when it remind me of before I came here. Before I came here, God spoke to me, and I didn't understand at the time. Maybe about 5 years before I came to, I had this explicit voice said to me, "I will send you into the darkness and into the unknown, for I am Lord." And I'm like, "What is this?" And then in that same period of time, I thought that I was serving as a police and I was working at the fraud squad at the time. And I was like, maybe God is gonna put me to a different department.
Mm.
And not knowing it's when I came here it came back to me that God said He was going to send me into darkness and into the unknown. I didn't have any plans to migrate. England wasn't on my mind, but God was setting me up to come to a place that I didn't know what was going to happen, but He already made the path. So the same thing with you going to Jamaica, not knowing what part you were on, but God was setting you up.
And to add to that, I remember I was at UWI studying in my first year and everything. And then it's like a Jonah experience because I knew I was supposed to go and do ministry, but I didn't want to do that. I was doing public policy and management.
Yeah.
And I stopped. I had to stop. And I remember for 9 months, I stopped UWI. I started to work and said, okay, what am I going to do? And then I started to look for a degree in theology and everything. And then JTS came to mind. I didn't even know how I reached JTS. So it's like, yeah, so it's like my time was stalled to reach JTS in a time. That Kanisa was there.
Because we started the year.
Yeah. So I didn't finish you. Stop my studies right there and then I just moved over to JTS. So
everything about this is just amazing. Like everything about it is amazing. Because most students in Jamaica want to go to UWI because it is UWI. Want to go to UWI. You're at UWI, the name UWI, and you're like, this is not the place for me. You're listening. This sounds more like it's God working through both of you in the same time to let destiny collide.
Yes.
So you're at a place, you're in England, which is what, 2,000 something miles away, and you're at one of the top university in Jamaica, and you're like, this is not it.
Wow. Yeah.
And then you guys meet up in the same dorm. No, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, all right. So you guys by now, we established that you guys got together.
Yeah, because we backtracked on this.
Yeah, we backtracked
about England.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the courting period.
So the courting period when you came back to England, how was that time?
That's your word. So I remember Kanisa would have left last year, December. And by then we'd have engaged. So I think we'd have been engaged about 2 weeks or so before. Because by then the relationship was getting really, really serious. We'd have basically planned the wedding before engagement.
He planned the wedding before engagement.
Yeah. So we were at that stage and she was okay with everything. We were planning the wedding. So okay, I know that she was going to go away like in the next 2 weeks. I said, okay.
Because I finished with school, now I'm going back home.
Yeah. So we engaged about, I think the 14th of December? The 14th, 2019. And then the 27th now, or the 29th, I had to say bye to Kanisa. Wow. Kind of hard, but I think one of the things that basically helped us was Facebook Messenger. Yeah, and for us, I think she was all the way in England. I was here in Jamaica.
Different time zone.
I was in my last year of studies, but I think would have gotten a little pre-distant because the summer before that, I would have gone and worked and travel in the US. She was in Jamaica. So for about 3 months to 4 months, I didn't get to see her, but nonetheless, we basically talk, video talk and all of that. So we basically getting
prepared for distance.
Yeah.
On Facebook Messenger.
Yeah. So video talk. Why it worked for us, I remember like if I'm in that school, sometimes I'm actually at practicum when I'm in my office. Basically, I'll probably have the laptop on and she's online even when I'm doing my work. So even though we're not like talking all the time, she's right beside me on the laptop.
Let me just jump in here because this seems to be one of the key ingredients in every long distance relationship. Our guest last week said the same thing, that they would just be on the phone, not saying anything. And for us, we would sleep on the phone, wake on the phone, sleep on the phone. Just like that.
Sometimes my little brother would basically laugh at me. I remember one night he came in the room because we shared room then. And he was like, so why not on the laptop tonight? Want to Kanisa? Because I mean like, I would be on the bed, I'm on this side and the laptop is on the next side, position to me. Sometimes I literally fall asleep and she's there, or sometimes she fall asleep and I am there. So it was like that. Sometimes I'm driving, likewise, it's on the phone on a tripod. So it's like we're always in each other's space.
Yeah, company, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we did that, the communication was there.
When I started working, that's when the time zone started to show. The time difference started to show, and it was a little harder because when I'm finishing work, just waking up, and I'm tired, go home to go sleep.
Yeah.
And it took a toll, but we still managed the video chat and say, I dozing off now, but don't hang up. And I would fall and he'd wait till I'm deep in the sleep, and then he would turn it off and then go about his way.
And sometimes,
let me just jump in here. Sound like the communication and the relationship had gotten to a solid place where even though you started working, that didn't present itself as a challenge.
Right.
How secure were you guys then? Because by then you wanted to get married.
yeah.
So that sounds to me like you have to have that kind of, for the long distance relationship to work, you need to know where you're going. Because
Yes.
the direction seemed to be a key part of it. With you working different time zone, everything, you were still able to sustain it.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that basically made me very much comfortable was the fact that we didn't have any trust issue. We actually knew each other, we trusted each other. So there was never a time like where you go and what, it wasn't the level of insecurity that was never ever there. And the whole idea of I knowing that, okay, Kanisa is away now, but she will return XYZ time. You basically have an expected date, looking forward to say, okay, we're going to do tonight again on this. If it's a case that you are apart and you don't really know when you're going to see each other again, that can be a challenge.
Yeah.
So I was literally counting down my days to say, okay, then I'll report on this day. So it's rather encouraging. And then again, we actually use the time to plan the wedding. So even though we weren't together, we planned the wedding. And that was even the time that we started our channel. We started to make plans in terms of how are we going to do things. It worked out.
You guys are really, you guys seem like you're into quite strategic, because when I saw you guys channel, I recognized that I think Kanisa told us that you guys were in different country but recording so forth. It's amazing that you guys did not, this is what I like about it. You guys did not, you guys recognized that well, destiny collided, you guys came together, but you did not wait any long drawn out relationship. You knew what you wanted, you decided to get married, and you guys started planning your wedding and all that amazing thing you were doing in that time of being far away but still empowering people, because your channel, you were doing a lot of things on your channel to empower relationship and encourage people. And then we met Kanisa.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, she became our sister. We heard about you, and you guys are here today. So what we want to know a bit more about is the wedding. Tell us about the wedding, how that went. Because we know when you went down, Kanisa, you went down you missed COVID like by a week.
By this much. But we would want to talk about the proposal, but we know that you have a video on your channel, so this is the perfect time for everybody. I'm going to put the link in the description of the proposal that everyone can watch.
Yes.
That was a journey. That was a journey. You have to watch that video.
Right. Yes, definitely. Go and check out the video. We're going to put it in.
Yeah.
But we want to establish a bit about the wedding now, and then after that, we want to know how it's going. How is married life going?
So for the wedding, because of the whole pandemic, it was kind of unstable in a sense in terms of setting a date, selecting the number. At first, we wanted to use, I think, 65 persons, but in Jamaica, the government, like perhaps every month, they changed the amount of number that could gather. So we really could send out invitations because they didn't want to uninvite anybody based on this. Right? Location again was a problem because we were saying, all right, if we choose this location and the number should change to probably 10. So we were trying to find somewhere that is flexible. Not to say that they're going to be unruly and break the numbers, but we don't want to be greatly disappointed based on the changes that will come from the government. So the wedding, honestly, I think that was one of my lowest points in my life. Kanisa's likewise, financially. And it's like, he did not expect this. For one, I remember I usually work in the summer in the US. That summer, because of COVID, everything was canceled.
God.
Some US dollar to get on the program, I didn't even get back everything. So it's like everything was just sinking. Jobs, everything was just like, and I'm like, God, why is all of this happening now? Because we had an idea in terms of what kind of wedding we wanted and whatever. But I recognize as we go along that was a time that God was really preparing us to trust him. So it wasn't as if God was saying, I'm going to drive your resources and see what you're going to do.
Yes.
Wow.
So I remember returning home, and for us, we were basically saying that we're more interested in getting the things that we need to live together rather than spending the little that we have on just the day.
Yes.
So we really want the day to be special, but we're thinking about, okay, we're going to need furniture, we're going to need all of this, rather to invest in these things, put these things as priority over financing. And can I tell you, I remember after planning for the wedding and so forth, persons would come on board, and I started working. Yeah, I started working in September. Just finished college, got my first job as a guidance counselor. And in Jamaica, it's not so easy when you just enter the education system. You work for the first 4 months and you don't even get $1. So didn't get no pay. And I remember my first week I was there, I was saying, okay, then my first one I'm going to get paid. Nothing came. My second one is I said, don't worry, man, we're going to get paid the second month. So we're going to buy the rings. Can I tell you, I didn't even buy my ring until 2 days before the wedding.
Wow.
Waiting for that money, because I was saying to her, even if persons are going to come on board and help us, when it comes on to the ring, I don't want anybody to do that part.
Yeah.
And can I tell you, it was like about the week before the wedding.
Finally got paid. 4 months.
It was a bit shaky, but I think it was so good because everybody who called before that would say, tell us, what is it that you guys don't have for the wedding yet?
Yeah.
That was what is it that you don't have yet? So I was saying, if we had the things before, we wouldn't get it, because other person, they don't call and say, I'm going to give you what you don't have yet.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
So to this date, heading into the wedding, probably I don't think
we didn't spend what
just
we
the
bought
ring,
our
just the
rings.
ring we bought. That's all.
God is good.
And all our resources, because I had planned that, all right, I'm going back home some work and see if I can save some money, and then he's gonna go on a program, he's gonna save up some. COVID hit, nobody can work, nobody can go anywhere, nobody can do it. And I only got to work 1 month over there, and then it was time to come back.
Yeah.
And he started to work, but it wasn't until the 2 weeks before the wedding that he got paid. So God called us to show us that he can work it out for us.
Yeah. So guys, we got everything. And not to cut you, I remember I think we're putting the things in the house, the apartment that we're in now, basically moving in the furniture, everything. And I remember we're driving here to where we are now, and Kanisa said something to me in the car. She was like, what do you know God as? And I was like, yeah, he's the omniscient God, and he's this and he's that, and everything else, other than saying that he's a provider. And she said to me, do you know that God is a provider? I was like, yes. She said, do you really know that God is a provider? And it basically dragged my mind to look at everything and say, how many times sometimes we basically get discouraged, or we become so worried because we think we don't have, and things it's not going to work out. But really and truly, God just wants the opportunity to show up.
I think there's a very powerful part of it. Everything about your story to this point has been, I'm just seeing God in everything, from meeting
before.
No, from God sending you from England after 7 years, God perfect number 7 years, to Jamaica, position you to meet your husband who was at UWI. God sent him to the same school, to the wedding. God, the resources dried up in a time of famine. God then released the divine flow for you guys. So even what you were planning to spend money, and God made it possible for people to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Left and right persons just showed up.
And that's what people need to recognize. All the persons listening tonight, when you're seriously when you come into a union and you trust God and you really want marriage to work, it's not the money, you know.
Yeah.
It's
You're
so
not
true.
waiting on the money to get married, and you put yourself in a position to compromise and to go outside of God's will. But if you are listening today, these people prove God without even having the resources.
Wow.
And that's why we're here, because we want you to understand that marriage is God's institution. It's God's first institution. And if you're going to go into God's institution, He will pay the bills. What do you think?
It was a choice because probably somebody that purchased the rings for us. So we said, no, we didn't want that part. Everything else was taken care of. So we actually, oh, and I remember even when we were at the wedding, the director, my minister came up to do toast.
So
And he was like, my toast is not going to be the regular toast. My toast is going to be $1,000. You know what I'm saying? So,
Wow.
and like,
and he just collected an offering. Every table gave
$1,000. So,
Wow.
so when the wedding was finished, we were in no debt at all. None at all.
God
We
is
were like,
amazing. God is
it was
amazing.
like, it was a big overflow.
And this
And
is not like something that happened last 10 years ago. This is something that happened last
5
year.
months.
That's something that happened a couple months ago. So crazy faith still exists when you trust God. Faith is still working for those who are willing to be faithful. You will be fruitful. God will come through for you. You know, just keep trusting Him. I know we've been here for a while, but I want you guys to tell us a bit about how marriage has been now.
It's been 5 months, right?
5 months.
yeah.
January, February, March.
My wife know the story so much, like she live with it all. So tell us how it's been after 5 months, and then we wanted to give our audience some advice in terms of what are some of the key things to really do in this process of really seeking God, or really get, if you know you want to get married, what are some advice you would give?
All right. What the 5 months?
In this 5 months, we have, well, I was very skeptical about marriage, even though I wanted to get married someday at some point, eventually, way down there. I was very skeptical about it because I'm like, everybody says it's hard, and you have to be serious and you have to be ready. And I'm like, how do I know that I'm ready? How am I know? And up until maybe a few years before, I was still thinking, but am I ready though? Like how how they made it sound like just it's so big, and I didn't have that feeling. I was just at peace knowing that I'm comfortable here.
I remember in the last week before the wedding, I said to her, are you ready to be a wife? And she said something that really blew me. She said, no. What do you mean? She said, I'm ready to be your wife, not a wife. Be your wife. Like, okay, yeah, that's the spirit.
Because tradition as wives to be, I know that I'm not that. So if you're looking for that, I am not ready to be your wife. But because of the connection and the understanding that we have between each other, I know that I can be his wife.
Yes.
Because he's not going to force anything onto me, and I'm not going to force anything onto him. So we just go with the journey, and we learn every day, and we understand each other, a different part of each other every day. And it's working, right?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. So somebody saw me.
It's looking good from our end.
It's looking real good.
Like, no man, marriage life, agree with him. So what do you mean? Look how you're glowing. Say the word, man. Everything nice. One thing, I think as we got into it, I think for the first couple of weeks and months, we basically had to really adjust in terms of living together. Because we have shared this on our channel too, that I remember even the hours, that in terms of how we wake up, I would be the early bird, Kanessa more later than me. And sometimes I say, come on, wake up. And I had to learn to say, okay, then she's different, I am different. We find the middle, adjust. In terms of things the house. We know so one might love to do the washing, one might love to do the cooking. So we kind of share up the duties and make
So
things work.
since we've been married, there are things that I have not done, things that he has not done.
I've not washed a piece of clothes, thank God. So we actually make things work. That's why I would say to anybody, don't make what people want it to be. Make it work for you, right?
Sticking traditional gender roles and all of that. What you are strong in.
You're basically complement and help each other. So we're basically doing that. I think for us too, again, I'm enjoying the food a lot. Honestly, I'm like I'm enjoying the company, just being at work. I know, say, okay, when I come, I have my wife, we can sit down and watch a movie. I don't want anybody to disturb me. Don't come after.
Tell me about the good life.
Right.
Why the good life? They give me 3 Pitney.
So it has been a journey, and for us again, I think when it comes down to just having somebody to talk to and to share your deepest I wouldn't even want to say secret, but the deepest things about you and even in decision making. Because for me, I love to know that if I'm going to make a decision, it is well thought about and so forth. Kanisa is that kind of person. So sometimes we sit down and say, okay, we want to do this. And we sit down with pencil it out and we make a decision. So just knowing that I have somebody to work with, it is a big thing for me. So I am really and truly enjoying it. As Kanisa would have said, we're learning as we go along. And I'm like everything, whatever it takes to protect my relationship, that is me. I'm very defensive to my relationship. So I think
that's something that persons need to learn about relationships. Like, if I'm doing something that you feel is jeopardizing our relationship, I need to let it go.
Yeah.
Yes.
No matter who the person is or whatever, if you think that me holding on to this person or you holding on to that person is causing a problem, why am I going to spare that person's feelings and hurt you?
Yeah.
So you need to just do what works for your relationship.
Protect each other.
Yes.
And that too, we'd have been coming from 2 different denominations, right? So same Christianity.
That's another old interview again, man. That's another
so
one.
we had to basically learn to compromise and work with it. And even then, I would say to anybody, just in brief, just be the supporter for your spouse. And whatever it takes, protect your spouse. And that's me. And so I don't care what you want to believe and what you think or whatever. This is my wife, that's your wife. It's my
Yes.
Don't allow her to be your problem. You just serve God and just make it work.
I'm so inspired by you guys. If I wasn't married tonight, I would definitely be looking to, and wouldn't you? Yeah, you guys are so inspiring.
The Dawson 6.
Now, you guys have a very powerful story, and I think everyone needs to hear it. And I'm so glad that you guys get to share your story on our platform, and know people will be blessed. I know people will definitely relate to where you guys are at. And it doesn't matter the distance, it doesn't matter where you're at in your life. If you trust God, destiny will collide you with your partner. Because she never want a man, she never want a man, She left England not wanting a man, but God had a man. God sent a man for her.
Yeah.
Listen this, ladies. Listen this. God will send you your lifeline. You don't need to worry. And this is why there's so much people even that are going to listen to this very, 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 very video, and they're in this stage that they're worrying about relationship, worrying about marriage. And now when you get to a certain age, you start to think like, oh, I'm feeling left out, or what is happening to me? Why am I forgotten? And I believe God, that if God has this in line for you, He will move somebody 22,500 miles just to find you.
That's right.
So you just need to hold on to hope and trust God. And the only thing about it, the more you are thinking about it, is the worse it becomes. Kanisa wasn't thinking about it,
Not at all.
So the more you have your mind, why am I not finding someone? Sometimes it's the further that goes from you.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Kari, do you have any final question, anything you want to ask before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to say thank you guys so much for sparing your time to be with us. Another inspiring story. I'm so happy that we chose you guys to come on out and to be with us tonight. And we love you guys. Continue to put out your content. We see you've put out information already for your vlog that's coming soon. So we're excited to watch that.
And we are your biggest cheerleaders. We're here. Guys, check out our video. We told you guys that when you guys come, we need to take you guys out, take you to our favorite restaurant. We shout you guys out. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, we give you guys a shout out on our channel. So yeah, guys, once again, please go and support them. They're a young couple and they're doing great things. And guess what? Let's support each other and let's grow together. That's my catchphrase. Let's grow together. I don't believe in anybody just trying to do this thing by themselves. We all need each other. And I have been married 5 years and I've learned so much from you guys tonight. So you're never too old. You can't be too in love or too you know too much about marriage that you can't learn from people. So guys, thank you so much for sharing tonight or today, whatever it is.
Thank you very much for having us. When I got the invitation, I said most definitely, right? So
thank you.
Need to do what you need to do, and I would have said something we kind of said earlier on that I think we need different couples, different style, everything, just to reach people because we have different audience that we will have to reach or not to really empower persons to live their best life. So thank you for having us. We're here supporting you likewise. We're here in JA, raising the banner.
We're gonna have guys come on over.
Whenever. And don't worry, when Kanisa come over, we will take care of her until you come. Don't worry.
No problem.
But thank you guys. That's it from us. Thank you guys. All right, guys. Wasn't that amazing?
That was
oh my
amazing.
god.
Oh my god.
We literally felt
amazing.
That's my word. We literally felt the spirit of God talking to this amazing God. Talking to this beautiful couple. What really stood out for me is how Kanisa was in the UK for 7 years. Kanisa, and then she was moved by what I believe is God to go to this same school that her husband was getting ready to come because he was studying at UE, and he then came to the same place. And they both met, and look at what God has done. That's amazing. God. Look at God.
Will he do it?
I don't know who might be out there today. You're doubting, wondering if your partner will ever find you. Once you trust God, Amen. He will make it possible. So keep the faith, trust God. In all you do, understand that God is not going to leave you nor forsake you. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. All right, so guys, as we always say, that's it from us. Do you have anything else to say, Rich?
No, just thank you for tuning in. Yeah. Thank you for being with us. And we are so grateful for the Greenlands that joined with us.
And as we always say, peace, we are out. See you guys.